Hello everyone, it's Helen and welcome to my process video for my first layout for the single page team for Stick It Down. We had to use that sketch. These are pre-digital photos. They're ones taken a long time ago when the boys were 3.5. But I had plenty of copies and for some reason they're the ones that spoke to me for this layout. As I've done with so many of my recent layouts, I've started with a piece of white cardstock and I pulled a stencil out. It's an old Crafters Workshop stencil and some distress ink and ink some lines. And then I decided I needed to back it with a piece of coloured paper. This does seem to be my go-to trend at the moment. As you can see, I've cut out the centre of the page of the yellow, and that's just so that I've got some coordinating paper to map one of the focal point or the focal photo. That's a bit tricky for me to say. I only have one sheet of it and it's a pretty old piece of paper in actual fact, probably about 2011, 2012. Same as this piece of chipboard here, this digger. I went through my stash and found it, and I'd actually had marked it to sell at a craft swap meet thing that I went to a couple of years ago and didn't sell it, and it's coming perfect for this layout. So as you can see, I'm doing a bit of embossing, bit of heat embossing. Haven't done that for a while as well. And I've chosen these colours mainly because if you look at the boys' shirts, the trucks that are on those shirts are in those yellow and orange colours. Here I'm inking around the edge, and I decided I just needed another bit of colour as well, so I've decided to double matte the white with the red and then the yellow. What you don't see is I actually went back and cut out the inside of the red piece after I'd stuck it down because I wanted that little bit of extra red around the photos, and once again it was a single sheet of cardstock. It would have been much easier if I'd decided to do it before I stuck it down, but oh well, this is what happens when you don't plan your layouts. You'll see in a minute I actually take the back off to my sewing machine and I sew around the edges. You can see I've flipped the sketch as well, so instead of having the photos on the left hand side, they're on the right, and that's due to the fact that in the photos the boys are looking towards the left, so I needed them on the right hand side because I like their eyes to look through the page rather than off the page. And then I sat here and I thought, it's a bit stark really. I need some more on the background. So I went to one of my other favourite techniques, the packaging technique, and I've got some, shimmer spray in Jenny B Blue, and I'm smushing that and splashing it around. I'm using a baby wipe to dab it up as I'm going so that the colour doesn't become too intense. I don't really want it really bright, so by dabbing it up it has a much more muted colour at the end. You can see I added some yellow as well. I forgot to film that bit. And now I've added a few drops of red, or pinky red. And when I rolled it up like that, I smudged a few. Now when I do things like that where I smudge it or I'm not happy with the end result, I then go, well, that's just telling me that I need to place something in that spot because I can cover it up. So added a bit more because when I put the photos on, I couldn't really see a lot of the blue, so I've gone back to add some more. And then I decided I just needed a little bit more on this photo. You can see my really dodgy measuring techniques there. But anyway, I get two little tiny bits and stick them either side of the photo so it looks like I've got a big strip of the red pattern paper behind the photo, when in actual fact I've got two tiny strips. It made me feel better having that bit of red as well behind the photo. And once again I wanted a little bit more, so I found this stamp from a Technique Tuesday pack that I've had for a long time and just did some subtle stamping in the background. A lot of it gets covered up really and you don't see it, but it's part of the process, isn't it? I'm positioning these photos so that the die cut digger sits on that one. It's all done so it all fits in. Usually I'd put some fun foam behind my main photo to pop it up, but because I wanted to position that die cut digger over the top of it, it had to be pretty flat this time. And then I got to this point, and after sticking the digger down, thinking, right, what am I going to do now? And as you can see in the corner of the video there, I've gone through my stash looking for anything that kind of relates to this topic. And I found a few stickers and little bit chipboard pieces that I'm going to cut up just to add some embellishing to it. This is one label sticker, just a little spot to add the date really, and just trying to find things that go. I quite like this number strip, but it was too big, so I've chopped it. I will chop it in half, you'll see that in a minute, and I stick it down. I've positioned this little die cut here right under so there's no trap space. However, then there's trap space between the digger and that die cut, but it's not too bad. Here's a cog that I've cut in half, and I'm just tying both ends of the photo strips together. There you can see it's that number cut in half, and I thought, oh, I can put an arrow on here to point to how old they are, but I wasn't really thinking because they're actually 3.5, not 4, so they're almost 4 in these photos. I have actually scrapbooked them before, years ago, but very different style to how I've scrapbooked them this time. And what I'm going to do with this layout, I don't really know, but I enjoyed re-scrapping them. So I have found that as the boys are getting older, we don't seem to do the same amount of things together anymore to get a lot of current photos. So I suppose if it's making me happy to go back and scrap these ones again, it's not going to hurt really, is it? This is an acrylic word that I found in my stash and some little stickers, and then I thought, I'm finished. But it just needed, I felt it needed something, so I found some more chipboard pieces and I've put them in that top left hand corner, and this is the finished layout. I hope you've enjoyed it. It'd be great if you could join us over at Stick It Down and be part of this challenge. Thanks for watching. See you later.